In the afterlife, there are many environments, but each is gloriously pleasant, with surroundings reminiscent of the environments of Earth School, only much more beautiful than residents are able to describe. In this video, I give accounts of people living in the afterlife about what they say their life is. Hello, I'm Dr. R. Craig Hogan, President of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute and Seek Reality Online. We know what the world of the afterlife is like because we have many thousands of accounts from people living there. The descriptions we receive of the place that is called Summerland are filled with ecstatic descriptions of a realm just like the earth realm, but much more glorious. Everything that is lovely on earth is exceedingly lovely in the life after this life, and the environment contains additional features undreamt of on earth. The environment depends on the person's state of being and expectations. If someone is still tied to the earth and its environment, they will experience an existence very much like the earth for as long as they remain at that level of thought. As they release their attachment to earth, the environment will change to match their new perspectives. A man named Leland Stanford, speaking to his father from spirit through medium Fred Evans, explains the environment in the life after this life.
Try to understand that the landscapes are spiritual, and so is the beauty of all that there is on the other side of life. The physical is only a gross imitation of the spiritual. There is no tongue which can describe the beauty of the spiritual realms, wherein are the souls of those who have just entered on their progressive existence, souls who have striven to do their best according to their light. I say that there is no tongue that can describe the beauties of that land. Take the best that you have, and it is poor in comparison.
Dame Alice Ellen Terry, the Shakespearean actress living in the 19th and early 20th centuries, described the realm of the life after this life in a Leslie Flint session.
But I can say that that which constitutes my life is full of beauty, full of color, full indeed of every aspect of loveliness that words could depict or experience could experience. There is so much. There are great buildings, beautiful to behold. There are great cities in which all can be found that is good for the life of the individual. There are great theatres, of course, in which great plays are performed, great operas even are sung, great musicians compose great works, so the great orchestras can play, and many can be blessed by music and the colour which suffuses the whole auditorium during its performance. If only I could even just depict the colourings of this world, this place in which I find myself now, so far removed from your realization. Colours beyond description, ever changing in their subtlety, and ever giving forth, as it were, a luminosity and a beauty so far removed from material ideas that one cannot hope to recapture. Thinking as one must in comparison to the rainbow of the earth, one can see here, as it were, the colourings of innumerable rainbows, with innumerable colourings, far more vast and comprehensive in their spectrum. There is a diffused subtlety of light. At times there is never darkness. There is a kind of what you might call perhaps a twilight, and yet this is something which in itself is so unlike yours. There is a time for quietude with us and rest, and yet there is never any need for rest or sleep, but peacefulness that comes upon us when we feel the need, and then our energies, which never seem to flag, are ever present, ever calling upon us to do more to experience more, to endeavour more. There is all the beauty and the magnificence of the countryside and the colourings of nature, but even more glorified and beautified than anything now, there are all the conditions that one would expect of your life, but much more rarefied and more beautiful, much more vast in its comprehension and its experience.
Flowers grow profusely in all regions of the afterlife. They're large and fragrant. This description of what flowers look like from Anthony Borgia's Life in the World Unseen gives a flavor for how much more remarkable the life after this life is than the earth environment.
I am describing not the ordinary orderliness that one might expect to see in public gardens on earth, but rather an exceptionally beautiful and well-tended space. There were no unruly growths or tangled masses of foliage and weeds. Instead, there was an awe-inspiring abundance of stunning flowers arranged to showcase their beauty perfectly. As I examined them more closely, I found that many of the flowers were entirely unfamiliar to me, and their colors were more vibrant than anything I had ever seen on earth. What struck me most, however, was the vital atmosphere of eternal life that these flowers emitted. As one approached a particular group of flowers or even a single blossom, it felt as though they radiated an energy that spiritually uplifted the soul and gave it strength. And the heavenly fragrances they emitted were beyond compare. All of these flowers were living and breathing, and according to my friend, incorruptible. When I drew near to them, I noticed another astonishing feature: a musical sound enveloped them, producing soft harmonies that precisely matched the flowers' gorgeous colors. I am not musically adept enough to explain this phenomenon in technical terms, but I hope to bring someone with more knowledge of the subject to explain it more fully. For now, suffice it to say that these musical sounds were in perfect harmony with everything I had seen so far, and there was perfect harmony everywhere.
The light in the afterlife is higher quality than sunlight. The sky is blue, with no sun, moon, or stars. There's an ambient light of higher quality than the light from the sun. One resident of the afterlife describes the light in this way.
The light in the spirit world is a result of our mind's action on the atmosphere. We can think light into existence, and it appears before us. This is why individuals who come with negative energies cannot see in the dark, as their minds do not possess the competence to produce light. As we ascend through the spheres, there is an increased intensity of light. This light emanates from the blending of more spiritual minds. It is a mistake to speak of the sun in the spirit world, for there is no such thing. The light in the spirit world radiates from atoms and is entirely different from the grosser light found in the physical world. This light is soft, radiant, and brilliant. It is so ethereal and beautiful that it blends with sensation, and the physical eye cannot behold it. On the contrary, the physical world's light is unnatural and painful to the spirit.
There is no night, although some describe a twilight period each day in which the ambient light is not so bright. People do rest, but they don't sleep unless they want to sleep. The temperature is always pleasant, with no inclement weather, although there is one description of a mist that happens every 2 earth weeks, and another of a rain that comes because it is good for their bodies. Buildings such as halls of learning, schools, art galleries, concert halls, and museums are described as being made of a solid material that has a pearl-like luminescence. The buildings are assembled in vast, beautiful, clean cities. In these halls of learning, all people studiously read out of self-motivated interest. Any of the heaven environments have all the characteristics of earth. They have mountains, rivers, lakes, forests, meadows, and vast fields of flowers. There are seas and beaches. Monsignor Hugh Benson, speaking through medium Anthony Borgia, describes a sea.
Never had I expected to behold such a sea. Its covering was the most perfect reflection of the blue of the sky above, but in addition it reflected myriad rainbow tints in every little wavelet. From where we were, I could see islands of some considerable size in the distance. Beneath us was a fine stretch of beach upon which we could see people seated at the water's edge.
We know what life is like in the afterlife from the testimonies of thousands of people living there now. It is a wonderful world full of sights and experiences we will all enjoy with our families when we all arrive there.